Hi, my name is Mimi Jung, and I want to welcome you to this year's Providence Hospice of Seattle Luncheon. Wherever you are watching this, we are so glad that you can join us virtually once again for this very important event. During this time, we are grateful that we're able to reach out to you this way. By being here today, you are supporting the very special programs that Providence Hospice provides for terminally ill and grieving kids. These include Stepping Stones, a hospice and palliative care program for children. It's the only one of its kind in our community. Safe Crossings, a grief support program for kids who are struggling with the death of a parent, sibling, or someone close to them. And Camp Aaron, King County, an overnight weekend grief camp for kids who have lost someone they love. We can only offer these programs to kids in need because of donors like you. You are so important. Today, you're going to hear from two families. Their lives were changed because of generous donors like you and the programs you're here to support today. In the story you're about to see, you'll meet Cora. After her heartbreaking diagnosis, Providence Hospice carried her family through one of the most difficult times in their lives. Without donors like you, that wouldn't have been possible.
Shane and I met about 11 years ago through a friend. We ended up having two separate events, and we had our wedding ceremony in Wisconsin, and then a week later we flew to Ireland and had our reception in Ireland. I had a couple of pregnancies before Cora, and they both ended within the first trimester. And we went through various genetic testing, and at the time nothing came up. We went ahead and kept trying, and then we got pregnant with Cora. Around 20 to 22 weeks, we had an ultrasound that just sort of spurred some concerns about her heart. And then a little bit later in the pregnancy, we had another ultrasound that they found some just abnormalities in a variety of things, I guess. It was mostly in her brain development. We kind of just held on to the possibility that it would be nothing and that she would just be healthy. She was born after a long labor, and when she was born, Shane and I both thought that she was not going to make it. When she was about 9 or 10 days old, it was confirmed that she had Zellweger syndrome. Kids like Cora with severe Zellweger syndrome, often the life expectancy is about 6 to 12 months.
At the hospital, they try to let you take care of your child as much as possible. So day one, they're doing all the work, but by the time you leave, hopefully you have acquired enough skills. But I think it's still terrifying to take home this little delicate creature.
I'm ready to go home.
Our nurses at Swedish hooked us up with stepping stones. With it being December, we just really wanted to take her home for Christmas. Mountains were moved to get us home, and we were so thankful to be able to come home with her on Christmas Eve. Tracy came into our life. She was a breath of fresh air, to be honest.
My impressions of Shane and Emily when I first met them was that they were wonderful parents who had just brought home this beautiful baby girl, Cora, who had complex medical issues.
It's a disorder at the cellular level, and a lot of these kids end up really struggling with seizures, a lot of respiratory distress.
Oftentimes it's kind of like they brought the hospital home with them, and so our job is to normalize that it's okay to feel overwhelmed, knowing that we are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for support via telephone or a visit, and we're walking along with them on this journey.
It was really huge to have them be able to come to our home, help figure out medications, help coordinate with other providers.
In this case, Shane and Emily keep Cora comfortable and having a good quality of life. And then the other key part is having fun, getting to know Cora and celebrating the milestones that she's able to meet, even with her medically complex situation.
Happy birthday to you.
They really made it very clear that they were really there just to support our family in whatever way we felt was best for Cora, for her life. We sat in bed and held her. I just held her in my arms, and Shane sang a song to her, and I just held her until she stopped breathing. And it was peaceful. And if I could have chosen exactly how I wanted it to go, I'd say that was pretty close to what I wanted.
We were very happy in the end with the amount of time Cora got to spend at home. She lived just over 17 months, and I'd say probably in total, to guess, she would maybe less than 2 months of her life was spent in hospital.
The things that they were able to provide us were, in retrospect, huge for our entire family's quality of life. We are hoping to welcome Cora's little brother at the end of September. At this point, we have a healthy little boy who will be arriving in just a few weeks.
I think it's important to support programs like Stepping Stones because it allows families to take care of their children at home and have great quality of life.
They really meet families where they are and support the needs that they have individually, and that looks a little bit different for every family.
What I learn is that there's a lot of bravery and strength, and that I'm the luckiest nurse in the world to get to have this job.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Haley. My granddaughter Mari was also cared for by Providence Hospice of Seattle. I know firsthand the difference it made. Please help us keep these services available for terminally ill kids and their families in our community. Click the donate button. You'll find it on the lower part of this page on your screen. You can give your gift right now. Even better, if you donate $400 or more, your gift will be matched by our champion sponsors and donors. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Wong. I was the first medical director for Providence Hospice of Seattle, and my company, the Bedside Trust, is one of today's event sponsors. I've seen firsthand the difference hospice makes, and I'm honored to be with you here today. Thank you for your generosity. I'd like to thank the other sponsors of today's event for their outstanding leadership and support. They have joined me in ensuring that the gifts you make today will go directly to helping terminally ill and grieving kids in our community. First, I'd like to thank the DeVink Family Fund, one of our Platinum Champion sponsors, for their leadership. Thank you to our corporate gold sponsors, Bellevue Healthcare, Denali Advanced Integration, Dignity Memorial, PEMCO Insurance, and Safe Crossings Foundation. I'd also like to thank our corporate silver sponsors and all of our other individual sponsors listed up on the screen, as well as our many other wonderful sponsors. With the support of donors like you, we can continue our mission to help seriously ill and grieving children. Your generous donations will bring peace and comfort to the families we serve. I know there are many places you could be right now, but you've chosen to be here to help children in need. You're making a big difference in their lives. I can't thank you enough. Our next story will show you how our Providence Hospice of Seattle's Children's Grief Support Program helped a young teenager cope with the death of her mother. You'll see what an incredible difference your donations can make. Thank you.
I could go to her for absolutely anything, and she was my best friend.
2 years ago, Brianna's mother, Robin, was diagnosed with terminal cancer.
I remember myself just saying, okay, we have to get through this. You need to be there for your mom.
Providence Hospice of Seattle provided care for Robin in the last months of her life.
When she was diagnosed, she was already terminal. So they started setting up things before I knew what was going on. They literally are a roadmap to places you've never been before.
But throughout that time, Brianna became overwhelmed and lost in her grief.
Oh, I was in a downward spiral, an absolute downward spiral. I was always really numb. And then when I wasn't numb, I was angry. And then I couldn't sleep, so I'd get upset. And it was just like a never-ending cycle. With teenagers, there's so many hormones. It's like we don't realize it consciously, but it's so much to deal with all at once that you don't want to admit that you need support, but you do.
Brianna found that support with Providence Hospice of Seattle's Safe Crossings program.
Safe Crossings supports you and say you can take all the time you need. You don't need to get over this really quickly because it's not going to happen. You're going to deal with it your whole life. And they're there to support that.
And after Brianna's mother died, Camp Aaron, King County became her refuge.
Camp Aaron's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You go there and you never want to leave. It's your new home. You have new friends and you can be a teenager. You're not alone there. Every step of the way, there's people holding your hand, no matter if you like it or not. They're there.
Camp Aaron transformed Brianna, as I believe they probably transform many kids that go through this.
Without these services, honestly, I know it's going to sound really bad, but I don't think a lot of kids would be able to go through this or be able to say that they're here today. Camp Aaron helped a lot of kids deal with their feelings, and I think that needs to be supported.
As you can see, these programs change lives. I'm Matt Wolf. I've been a long-time camp volunteer, and I'm a member of the Providence Hospice of Seattle Foundation Board. These programs we've talked about today can only continue with your help. Right below this video on your screen, you'll see a donate button. Please click the button to make your donation. And now is a great opportunity to make an even bigger difference. If you donate $400 or more, it'll be matched by our Champion a Child sponsors and donors. That means your gift will go twice as far in helping children and families in need. I look forward to volunteering with many more kids in the future, thanks to your overwhelming generosity. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. And thank you for attending today's virtual luncheon. We appreciate you for being here to help raise much needed funds for these extremely important programs. Thank you for all you do to help terminally ill and grieving children in our community. For Providence Hospice of Seattle, I'm Jung. We hope to see you all next year.